And I think that it sometimes just takes a real hard, kick in the teeth to all of a sudden for something to finally change. And, like the idea of going to a restaurant and getting on a wait and sitting at a table, you're like, what am I doing there? What I'm doing there is I'm not cooking, number one, right? I'm not cleaning up the stuff I cook, number two. And I'm probably going to eat food that's better than what I'm eating. Do I really need to be in the booth? Or do I just want the food and I want to be with friends? And I think that thinking that you had to do that inside of an actual physical structure that costs an immense amount of money to run and operate. And it's like, okay, well, and with restaurants, Shane and I can speak to this directly because we had one for 5 years. It's like the operational cost of a restaurant is just, I mean, you are so ripe for error in there. It takes one thing, it's like you're packed and you're like, why the fuck are we not making money in here? You're like,
money tonight.
It's like, dude, well, it's the food cost on the spices. You're like, food cost on spices? What the fuck are you talking about right now? It's like, you just get one thing wrong, it's just the way that your line is set up and you got your sous chef. And he's like, dude, but that's what I think is, I think there's a good opportunity for stuff like that where you say, well, listen, let the food truck people do what they do, right? Give them a place to be. But I just think there's so many opportunities like that. And
100%.
sometimes you need a 2020 to kind of reset opportunity,
Structure of everything.
Whether that is travel, whether that is how you eat or how you interact, or, I mean, think about what happened for Zoom this year.
Oh, God.
I had never heard of it before 2020.
Never heard of it.
I was like,
right? And it's literally changed how business is going to be moving forward. I mean, what a realization to be like, I was like, this is stupid. We don't need to send Evan out to, Atlanta to go talk to a client. Like, that was what a waste of money. We could actually pay Evan more money, right? So he doesn't leave the company, right? And then just tell Evan you can do it in your fat pants at home.
It's crazy. I mean, it makes perfect sense because we've done it to a certain extent prior. Like, I mean, Skype was a thing for a long time. And people were doing meetings, but no one really integrated it that heavily. And I feel the same thing with restaurants where it's like you have this like overhead that kills restaurants when it's like, honestly, since COVID's hit, I've been stoked that people aren't sitting right next to the booth that I'm sitting. I enjoy that distance. I'm like, I'm so happy you didn't sit someone or sit me next to the loud people that I'm like, I have like a half a chair of separation from. So people enjoy, like they're starting to realize like, gosh, this distancing thing is actually nice. Like, like where do I get more of this? Like I've been going out to eat more because I have that. I'm like,
no, totally.
I know,
talk but you just,
all the time now.
Yeah, you just need those things. I mean, I was talking to my dad about this, and my dad retired as like the executive vice president, Blue Cross Blue Shield in Kansas. And he was talking about it where he has the corner office and here he is in a suit and tie every single day. And he's looking out onto his floor or whatever, seeing all of his team and they're all in suit and ties and stuff. And he's just like, are we seeing fucking people today? Like, why are we all wearing suit and ties?
What are we doing?
Do we bring our insured people in here? Why am I in this fucking tie all day long, right? And it wasn't until really like the Googles and a lot of the .com companies started coming and they started putting ping pong tables in. They're like, be comfortable. And you saw this like shift when the market or when that bubble happened, where all of a sudden companies are like, why are we asking people to dress professional, right? If they're only professional because they're wearing a suit and tie, well, then we shouldn't hire them, right? It's like, as soon as I take this tie off, here comes the sexual harassment, let's not hire that guy then, you know what I mean? But I think though that, there are going to be some really good things out of all the crap that happened with the 2020. And I'm just looking at what we're doing right now. And then looking at the opportunity in real estate and how people travel and how people eat and how people interact. And I think for a lot of people, and I know a lot of people that listen to this podcast are listening for just to hear advice, or whether it's actual good advice or not, hearing us talk about
to be determined.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll see how this plays out in 5 years.
But look, it fucking sucks right now. But in a weird way, it's like, man, if you're really someone who's willing to look at the opportunity and pay attention to what's going on, I mean, I would have loved to invest in Zoom in February. Man. You know what I mean?
Damn it, Gary G, how did you not see this coming?
I know, totally. 100%, man. It's just like, well, I was busy raking.
Yeah, you're busy raking.
Stop
raking.
You're busy teaching somebody to rake.
Yeah, not letting it go. You know, 2020 is good. I've dug deep in a lot of different things. With I've been in politics, and regardless of where you stand, it's been a huge awakening for everyone to just kind of step back and like look at humans as humans again, because we really were like, it was like a jolt when 2020 hit and all this stuff happened. I was like, it like kind of like everybody just stood back and like looked at just the structure of our nation. Like, why are we like you said, like, why are we sending people across the country and to different countries for meetings when we can literally do it right here and save so many? I mean, you think about the planes and the money being spent for the companies, the amount of money to pay people staying home, the time with family, like all these things that as Americans we've kind of neglected. You know, family has not been a priority for many people because, you know, work is number one. And you doing all this traveling when it's like you could have been at home with your family this entire time. Now, a lot of us are like, get me out of here. I want to travel. I want to get away. But it really is that awakening where people like step back and like, we could put our time and energy into so many other places. We can create businesses that have less overhead and put more people in like the food truck idea, put more people in power of their own businesses. But we give them the common ground to do that. It's gonna be really cool. The next 5 years, the next 10 years, I'm really excited to see how social media, how the internet and businesses and brick and mortar really grow, because real estate is now coming back as people are starting to want to have these real estate investments and properties. It's not all in that Facebook world where everyone is like, I need to make an app. People still are doing that, but people really want to have that tangible location again. And it's really going to grow here in the next 5 to 10 years.
I agree.